Let's talk about manipulation. It's a word that leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? We often see it as a negative thing, a sign of someone trying to control or take advantage of us. But what if I told you that manipulation at its core can be a survival tactic? Children are born into this world completely dependent on their caregivers. Imagine a child growing up where basic needs are not met. Maybe there's neglect or chaos. In such situations, children can develop manipulative behaviors to get their needs met. This isn't about blaming the child, it's about understanding their behavior. These children aren't bad, they're just doing what they have to do to survive. Let's dive into environments that breed manipulative behaviors. Imagine a home with constant fighting and unpredictability. The child never knows what to expect, craving security and consistency, or a child who's constantly ignored or emotionally neglected. They might learn to act out to get attention. Abuse creates a terrifying world, making manipulation a defense mechanism. They learn that love is conditional and trust is fragile. Let's try to get inside the mind of a child who is resorting to manipulation. They don't wake up one day and decide, I'm going to become a master manipulator. It's a gradual process, born out of necessity and a desperate desire to feel safe. Imagine you're a child who's constantly being yelled at. You learn that if you cry or act scared, the yelling might stop. You might even get a hug or a kind word. So you start to associate those behaviors with getting your needs met. Or maybe you've learned that telling the truth gets you nowhere. So you start to tell them what they want to hear. Over time, these learned behaviors become deeply ingrained. It's a survival mechanism, a way to navigate a world that feels unsafe and unpredictable. Here's the thing about these deeply ingrained survival mechanisms. They don't magically disappear when we reach adulthood. In fact, they often become even more entrenched, shaping our relationships, careers, and overall well-being. Think about it. The child who learned to manipulate to get attention might grow into an adult who seeks validation and affirmation through excessive praise, or by playing the victim, they might crave constant reassurance, often feeling insecure and unworthy without it. The child who learned to lie to avoid conflict might become an adult who struggles with honesty and intimacy. They might build walls around their hearts, afraid to let anyone in for fear of being hurt or rejected. The problem is that these manipulative behaviors, while effective in childhood, often backfire in adulthood. They can lead to broken relationships, strained friendships, and a deep sense of loneliness and isolation. The very tactics that once helped them survive can end up sabotaging their chances at genuine connection and happiness. The cycle of manipulation, breaking free from the past. Here's the good news. Even though these patterns are deeply ingrained, they don't have to define us. We can break free from the cycle of manipulation, but it takes courage, self-awareness, and a willingness to confront our past. The first step is recognizing that we're stuck in a pattern of manipulation. This requires brutal honesty with ourselves and a willingness to look at how our behaviors are impacting our lives and the lives of those around us. Once we've acknowledged the problem, we can start to explore the root causes of our behavior. This is where therapy can be incredibly helpful. A skilled therapist can help us unpack our childhood experiences, identify the unmet needs that are driving our manipulative behaviors, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Breaking free from manipulation is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way, but with each step forward, we move closer to a life of authenticity, vulnerability, and genuine connection. Recognizing manipulation. A look at common tactics. Let's get practical and talk about how to recognize manipulation. Manipulators are often masters of disguise, so it's important to be aware of the common tactics they use. One common tactic is guilt tripping. They might say things like, "After all I've done for you," or "You should be ashamed of yourself for..." They use guilt to make you feel bad and pressure you into doing what they want. Another tactic is playing the victim. They might exaggerate their problems, blame others for their misfortunes, or constantly seek sympathy and attention. They want you to feel sorry for them, so you'll let your guard down and give them what they want. Manipulators also use threats and intimidation. They might make veiled threats, give ultimatums, or try to scare you into submission. They want you to be afraid of the consequences if you don't comply with their wishes. Remember, knowledge is power. By recognizing these tactics, you can start to protect yourself from being manipulated and set healthy boundaries in your relationships. The impact of manipulation, a ripple effect. Manipulation doesn't just affect the manipulator, it has a ripple effect, impacting everyone around them. Partners, children, friends, and colleagues, they all feel the strain of being in a relationship with someone who is constantly trying to control and manipulate them. For partners, it can be incredibly damaging to their self-esteem and sense of self-worth. They might start to doubt their own perceptions, feeling constantly off balance and unsure of where they stand. Children who grow up in manipulative households often learn to manipulate as a way to survive. They might become overly compliant, afraid to express their true feelings, or they might become master manipulators themselves, perpetuating the cycle. Friendships can become strained as the manipulator constantly demands attention, support, and validation. They might try to isolate their friends from others, creating a dynamic where they are the sole focus of their attention. In the workplace, manipulation can create a toxic environment. Manipulative colleagues might take credit for others' work, spread rumors, or sabotage their co-workers to get ahead. This can lead to decreased morale, productivity, and overall job satisfaction. Healing from the wounds of manipulation is a journey, not a destination. It's a process of self-discovery, forgiveness, and learning to set healthy boundaries. The first step is acknowledging the pain that manipulation has caused in your life. Don't minimize your experiences or blame yourself. It's important to validate your feelings and recognize that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. Forgiveness is a powerful tool in the healing process. This doesn't mean condoning the manipulator's behavior. It means releasing yourself from the anger and resentment that are keeping you stuck. Learning to set healthy boundaries is crucial for protecting yourself from further manipulation. This means learning to say no without guilt, setting limits on what you're willing to tolerate, and walking away from relationships that are toxic or harmful. Remember, you are not alone. There are resources available to help you heal, grow, and reclaim your power. Reach out to a therapist, join a support group, or confide in a trusted friend or family member. Building healthy relationships is essential for breaking free from the cycle of manipulation. This means learning to communicate our needs effectively and setting clear boundaries. Communication is key in any relationship, but it's especially important when you've been in a dynamic where manipulation was the norm. Learn to express your feelings openly and honestly, without fear of judgment or retaliation. Setting boundaries is about protecting your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. It's about learning to say no to things you don't want to do, setting limits on how others treat you, and walking away from situations that are unhealthy or unsafe. Building healthy relationships takes time and effort. It's about finding people who respect you, value your opinions, and treat you with kindness and compassion. It's about creating a space where you can be your authentic self without fear of manipulation or control. Sometimes, breaking free from the cycle of manipulation requires professional help. A therapist can provide a safe and supportive space to explore the root causes of your behaviors, develop healthier coping mechanisms, and build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. Therapy can help you identify the unmet needs that are driving your manipulative behaviors. It can also help you understand how your past experiences have shaped your beliefs about yourself and your relationships. A therapist can teach you how to communicate your needs effectively, set healthy boundaries, and develop a stronger sense of self-worth. They can also help you work through any trauma or emotional pain that's contributing to your manipulative behaviors. Seeking professional help is a sign of strength, not weakness. It's a commitment to yourself and your well-being. It's about taking control of your life and creating a brighter, healthier future. Manipulation is a complex issue with roots often planted deep in childhood experiences. But here's the thing, your past doesn't have to define your future. You have the power to break free from the cycle of manipulation, to heal from the wounds of the past. and to create a life filled with authentic connections and genuine happiness. It starts with self-awareness, recognizing the patterns, understanding the why behind the behavior. It's about having compassion for yourself, acknowledging that you learned these tactics as a way to survive. But it's also about taking responsibility for your actions and making a conscious choice to change. Building healthy relationships is a crucial part of the healing process. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who support your growth, and who treat you with respect. Learn to communicate your needs effectively, to set boundaries, and to walk away from relationships that are no longer serving you. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. There are resources available, people who understand, and professionals who can help. Take that first step towards healing today. Reclaim your power, rewrite your story, and step into a future filled with hope, authenticity, and love.